Hola, hola. My name is Ari, and I am your new Spanish teacher. If you are here, it's because you want to learn Spanish from the very scratch. So today I will explain you the plan that you need so in the future you are able to have a normal conversation in Spanish. So we are going directly. I will explain you this introduction plan. So this is a proven method that I have been doing with my students when they start from the very nothing, when they know nothing, okay? So the most important thing that you need to know in any language, not just in Spanish, is the verb to be, because you will use this verb all the time. But the thing is that in Spanish is a little bit more complicated than in English, okay? In English, you only say I am, you are, he is, she is, and all of them. But in Spanish, you have two ways. For example, in English, I say I am, but in Spanish, I have two ways. One is yo soy, and the other one is yo estoy. So in this plan, what I will do is to teach you the difference between them, exactly where you will need to use each of them, because if you don't learn this now, in the future, it could be a little bit complicated that you use them in the right way if you don't learn them now. So, okay, I will explain you with this picture. So as I said, the verb ser and the verb estar, they are the verb to be in English, right? Like I am, you are, he, she is. If we open a Spanish book, a traditional Spanish book is going to say that the verb ser, it's more permanent, and then the verb estar is more temporary. Now, it's not always like this. Actually, I always say nothing in Spanish is 100% accurate. We have a lot of exceptions, right? So following this theory about like permanent and temporary, sometimes it is like this. For example, when I'm using the verb ser and I'm talking about nationalities, where someone is from, you will have to use the verb ser because, for example, if I say I am from Argentina, I will always be from Argentina. Even if I move to any other country in the world, I will be always from Argentina. So if I say I am, I will use yo soy because it's permanent. And the other one, the verb estar, it's more temporary. I say like this, temporary, because it's not always like it, but mostly we can say by the books that the verb estar is more temporary, right? So why? For example, if I say, how are you? How are you doing? So then you say, yo estoy bien, not yo soy bien, right? So why we use the verb estar? Because it's temporary. If I ask you, how are you doing right now? It's just in this moment, your feelings, your emotions in this moment. So yeah, it's a little bit temporary. But a lot of people, they always think in just ser is permanent and estar is just temporary. That's it. And as I told you, it's not always like this. So what I would like to do, what I do here in this plan is to tell you, to explain to you exactly where you will use each of them. See, more than just permanent and more than just temporary. So, okay, let's go with the topics. The verb ser, you will use it in characteristics. Whenever you are describing someone or something, you always use the verb ser. And why I say it's not always permanent, because, for example, if I am describing myself, I am talking about a characteristic about me, I will say that I am brunette. So it's a characteristic about me. But what about if tomorrow I am blonde? So it's not always permanent. It's just a characteristic about me. And anyways, I have to use the verb ser. So sometimes it could be temporary, sometimes it could be permanent. It doesn't matter. If you are talking, if you are using a characteristic, an adjective, you will mostly have to use the verb ser. So what we're going to do in the next classes is I will teach you some vocabulary. I will teach you how to use it with the verb ser And we will try to have some little conversation because, of course, here it's not only grammar. Also, I will be asking you things. Okay, so the first topic inside is characteristics. Whenever you are talking, whenever you are describing someone or something, you will need to use the verb ser. Okay, the next one is nationalities. So nationalities basically is the only topic that is 100% permanent, because the country, as I told you, the country that you're from is always going to be your country, right? So it's always permanent. So basically with the verb ser, what I will do is to teach you a couple of countries, because you will probably ask to people, where are they from? But also you need to understand where are they from. So some countries, they will change from English to Spanish, and I will teach you them. But mostly here, what we want to do is to practice the pronunciation, because from the beginning, we will be doing this such important thing, which is the pronunciation. So I will explain the most important changes that we have. Then we have professions. Professions means that every time that I'm talking about someone's job, for example, if I want to say, I am a teacher, I will have to use the verb ser. So I will give you the vocabulary and we will practice it with the verb ser. Again, it's not always permanent. I don't know if I will be a teacher forever. So if you think too much, it doesn't agree a lot with the fact of being permanent or being temporary. But again, just don't think too much. If it's a profession, you will use the verb ser. Okay, the next topic is relationships. So whenever you are talking about a relationship that you have with someone, for example, we are friends, the are is going to be with the verb ser, because remember that we have another are, which is the verb estar. So whenever you're talking about relationships, you will need to use the verb ser. In relationships, I will teach you vocabulary with different parts of the family. For example, like mom, dad, sister, brother, son, daughter. We will try to put them together and we will have some conversation. Then the last topic is the time. So in the time, we have 3 little topics. The first one is going to be the numbers. I will teach you the numbers, but because here we are not learning just random things, we are putting them into an actual conversation. I will teach you the numbers, but also we are going to have a whole recreation where you will have to buy in a store in Spanish. You will have to ask me for different prices for different type of food, and I will tell you the prices with the numbers that we learned, and you will have to figure it out what number I'm talking about. So we have the numbers with the situation in the store. Also, we have the days in the week and the months in the year, where I teach you the vocabulary and I will ask you some questions. So that's everything for the verb ser. Now, for the verb estar. Again, if you open a traditional Spanish book, it's going to say that the verb estar is more temporary, but it's not always temporary. If we go to the first topic, it's location. Location is, for example, if I say, I am in my house right now, that's my location. So a lot of people, they will think a lot and they will say, okay, estar is temporary. I am in my house right now, so it's temporary. It's okay. I'm not going to be in my house forever. But what about if I'm saying about the location of my house? Where is my house located? I don't know if my house is going to be here forever, if it's permanent, if it's temporary. So again, don't think too much. It's not always temporary. So if you're talking about location, you always need to use the verb estar. It doesn't matter if it's permanent or temporary. What I do here is to teach you vocabulary with location. You will not have to say street, like different places around the city, right? Like a street, store, market, museum, the bank, a lot of them. And we will have a conversation where you get lost in a city and you will need to ask to someone random in the street how to go to a place. I will be the someone random. And also I will tell you, I will teach you how to talk in the polite way to someone that you don't know, because in Spanish we have some specific polite ways that you will use with like a random person in the street, right? So I will tell you everything. I will explain you like the whole conversation, and you will have to use the verb estar and the vocabulary with places. Okay, then we go to emotions. Emotions is, for example, when I ask you, how are you doing? You say then, like if I say, ¿cómo estás? Then you say, estoy bien, right? You will have a lot of the different ways to express how are you doing. So then you can say yo estoy bien, estoy feliz, estoy triste, estoy molesto. So you're expressing how you feel. You will need to use the verb estar. I will give you the vocabulary. We are practicing with the verb estar, and then we're doing the conversation. And the last topic is the verbs. The verbs is going to be basically the present continuous. So when I'm talking about something that I am doing right now, for example, I am teaching Spanish. The ing, the famous ing in English is going to be this in Spanish. It's going to be the verb estar plus the verb. So again, we'll give you the verbs, the vocabulary, we will put everything together with the verb estar, and then we will have some sentences, we will write some sentences, and then we will have some conversation. At the end of this basic introduction plan, you will know very well the difference between the verb ser, the verb estar. You will know vocabulary, you will know how to apply them into a real conversation. And after this, we need to learn the six most basic tenses in Spanish, where basically we're going to do the present simple, the future, past imperfect, subjunctive, and conditional. But well, for now, this is what we have. And if you learn the difference between the verb ser and the verb estar, you are going to have a correct Spanish. So I will see you in the next class. So we're going to start with the first topic. Ciao, ciao.